Welcome to Mike's Opinion. Today is January 28th, 2020. And everything said here is me and my opinion. It may come through raw, but ain't nothing I'm saying law. This is all my opinion. Okay? So, if you can work with that, then good to go. And if you can't work with that, then bye-bye. But no, I'm doing this because I like to contribute. I'm going to do eventually an intro, and I'll put it at the top, I guess. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant and his daughter, Gianna, and the rest of the families that were on that helicopter in that tragic accident yesterday. That's going to be another podcast. Today's topic is vaccinations. Are you a vaxxer or are you an anti-vaxxer? Well, I'll tell you my opinion. And I'll tell you right now, I am an anti-vaxxer, though I am vaccinated. Reluctantly, didn't have any say in the matter, and I know my people were trying to do the best things for me. Now, those that are pro-vaccination, you get heated and rambunctious, just hold the phone. Hold the phone. And let me share with you my logic why I'm anti-vaccination or anti any foreign substance that's not natural or nature derived. I'm also anti-pharmaceutical. I'm up in the years, long in the tooth. And I'll tell you this, I'm not on a single medication. Not one, not even an aspirin, a Bufferin. For those who know what Bufferin is, I'm not Tylenol, none of it. And haven't been for decades. Never had a flu shot. And I'm healthy. Just had a physical recently. Everything's working well. Feel good. Yeah. So here's the basic thing for me. This is my basic thought process and philosophy. There are many diseases out there, but let's just say measles. Measles is popular. It's in the news. Well, what's most popular now is the coronavirus that seemingly originated in China, has hopped the pond and is in the States now. I think there's up to 5 confirmed cases, 4,500 confirmed cases in China, about a 2.5% mortality or fatality rate in China at this day on January 28th, 2020. Surely it's going to grow. But measles, and let me come back to measles. Just historically, disease. It's real what I'm about to say, but everybody can't live. Everybody can't live. Possibly the planet kills some of us off. And if it's my loved one, it's heartfelt. I get it. But we're all going to die. All of us. Okay? If you embrace that fact, and I'm not saying there's no expeditious route to get there, even though some people do, and that's for another show, suicide show. But I don't want to die anytime soon. Nobody knows when it's coming. We're going to die. Okay, let's just think about that. Let's hold on to that for a second. Back to measles. It is my understanding, and I've done some research over the years, but the basic understanding is if you contract and survive measles, you are naturally vaccinated. You have a permanent and lifelong vaccination and protection from future measles contractions. So, now, for those that have to put their infant into daycare, for the elderly person, and these days, I don't know, 65, I don't think is it. I'm saying 75 maybe and up, 80-ish. For those with compromised immune system, frail or fragile immune systems, if you got a newborn, I understand wanting to do everything you can to protect it, which is exactly why I did not vaccinate my no longer newborn. He's still in the single digits, but he's not a newborn, but he has not had a single vaccination. Oh, hold on. He did. Before I can get to him in the hospital, they gave him Hep A or Hep 1, I believe. And they also put this stuff in his eyes. And then I stopped anything else. And I love my child. I want to protect him. I want him to live a full, happy, fulfilling life. I do not, on any vaccination schedule, want to bombard his system with foreign substances. For one, I don't know how they're concocted. I don't know from what they're derived from. My understanding is that they can contain all kind of foreign substances. And as long as a human is involved, or even a computer or machine is involved, there can be mistakes. I would rather suffer with him in the bed, putting a cloth on him, sadly and torturously watch him suffer for, 5 to 10 days, whatever the period, not incubation, but the duration of a measles outbreak. I believe it makes him stronger. I believe that, if I understand correctly, that he will no longer have to worry about the measles. And at the very least, that particular strain. So instead of injecting him with something someone told me was safe, I'd rather let nature take its course. And that's the basic idea, the basic thought process that I have. And it goes with any pharmaceuticals. Now, when you think about something like that, right, you can go the full spectrum from food to, medicines, anything that is consumed, via the mouth, the eyes, the ears, injected. Hell, even a suppository, something you put in your butt. Anything that goes inside of your body. You look at a can of soda. Cans are not transparent. They're usually made of tin or aluminum. And you have no idea what's in it. You pop the top and you drink it, assuming that there's not a roach or an ant or something else in there. I think there was a fast food chain that they had a problem with fingers being found in chili. We've all probably found a hair in our food, whether it be in a restaurant or elsewhere. Our body is a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's a dynamic, complete system. And the diseases that present themselves and have currently and throughout history, I don't know for sure. Some of them are nature-made, some of them are perverse, some of them are man-made, but we have survived as a species, as humans on planet Earth. In fact, I dare say we've thrived above bubonic plague, the Black Plague, scarlet fever, measles, mumps, rubella, the MMR shot, that's what it stands for, measles, mumps, and rubella. I myself have had the chicken pox. Maybe twice, and I say that because I thought I had it already, and I'm embracing my my younger daughter. She's older now, but I have a young kid and an older kid. And I'm hugging her and kissing her, thinking I had already had it. Man, I had that chicken pox everywhere. And when I say chicken pox were everywhere, I literally mean everywhere. And I won't elaborate. I'll just say everywhere. You know what that means. So, and I scratch, and I still have marks on my face, a couple of pock marks on my face. It was just insanely hard to resist scratching. But guess what? I'm here. It was miserable, but I'm here. And I know for certain now that I've had the chicken pox. I thought I had it as a kid. But the old adage, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, is fitting at this. Now, the flip side, right? The vaxxers, the pro-vaccination people, let's protect people by injecting everybody with this so nobody will have it. Supposedly we had eradicated polio and measles, but it's made a comeback. And so the people that are pro-vaccinations, I think, and again, I've said this in previous episodes, I digress a lot. If I'm talking too fast, maybe you're listening slow. I heard that on a rap song one day. But anyway, I don't know. It's really hard sometimes to convey the things and to change someone's mind, to get people to understand, and these vaccination people, if everybody gets vaccinated, we won't have to worry about it. And I say, if everybody doesn't get vaccinated, we'll thin out the weak. And sadly, I'm not cruel. I'm not insensitive. I want no one's kid to die. But if nobody died, we'd run out of resources on this planet. Water, food, air, clean air. There's such a thing as overpopulation. It's my understanding there's somewhere between 6 and 9 billion people on the planet right now. There's a lot of people suffering out there. A lot of human beings without shelter, without food, without clean water. I think that could be solved, really. But anyway, yet again, another episode. The pro-vaxxers say that the anti-vaxxers are being irresponsible. How dare you? My thing has always been, if you're vaccinated, if your child is vaccinated, then what are you worried about my unvaccinated child for? He's or she is going to be the one that contracts it, right? Your child's vaccinated. What's your problem? Why you tripping? So, I really wanted to do a show on vaccinations. Now, you can look up all the stats. Go to the CDC website. I don't know, WebMD, and I'm not a sponsor. I'm not getting any money for saying, WebMD, CDC, or any of the other resources that you have to obtain statistical information regarding diseases. But I wish nature and logic were prevalent. But I think, no. I know there are a lot of people out here, that are over-caffeinated, under the influence of one or many pharmaceutical companies, have lost their mind, and are also subjected to too much bad food in their diet, too much programming, especially of the multimedia kind, audio, visual, movies, Netflix. I've never binge watched anything. Life is too short to watch somebody else live their fake life on TV. I'd rather live my life. The things I do like to watch are documentaries and things that are what I consider edutainment. Rap group BDP said that once. Edutainment. Shout out to KRS-One and them. I wish logic would be applied. But I'm a dreamer, right? I like to think positive. I still think we could obtain utopia, maybe in 1,000 years if we can survive. But there's all natural, crimeless societies where everybody's healthy and happy. Imagine that if the news had no bad news to report. But something's wrong with us humans. We've been addicted to the drama. Something's wrong with us fundamentally. People think it's boring to be happy and healthy. And I'm not talking about like through material things, because a lot of people think they have to keep chasing that carrot. Anyway, I digress. If you can obtain a disease, a survivable disease, and then you are no longer susceptible to that disease, regardless when or how exposed, to me, that is nature's vaccination. That is natural vaccination. Is it not? Now, once again, for me, my child didn't have to go to daycare. I was fortunate enough, and still am, that we had the resources that, wifey and I are home with each other every day, all day, and have been since the birth of my single-digit child. He's single-digit. Now, my first child, who has children of her own, and we disagree on this, by the way. Yes, my own grown child has vaccinated her kids. And they're young, like under the age of 2. But she, lives that 9-to-5 life, her and her husband. So that, she got 6 weeks at the crib, and then she's got to go drop her kids off so she can go back to work. And I think that's horrendous, even though I did it with her and I vaccinated her. But we're talking over 30 years ago when I was none the wiser. I was in my early 20s, just didn't know, as they say, my ass from my elbow. I didn't start thinking logically until my 30s, mid 30s. And everything changed for me. It was like something flipped a switch, like I ate a carrot or something, and boom. I just started thinking. If people just think, take the fervor and the emotion out of it, be Spock. Be Spock. Think like Spock, okay? Let's think this thing through logically, okay? I think it's been well proven that pharmaceutical companies are for-profit corporations. And they recorded stellar profits. There's been price gouging, price manipulation. I think this is well documented. This isn't speculation on my point. So if you have an entity, a company, a corporation that is in the business of profiting, wouldn't you think? And with as much profit as they've made, they can lobby. They can spend money on lobbyists. They can spend money to influence. Now, I'm not going to say they're as treacherous or scandalous or devious as they've created the disease so they can profit off of the cure. That would be outlandish, right? Yeah. I have no proof of that, so I don't know. Is it possible? Of course it is. This is Earth. What's not possible when it comes to human beings and greed? But some say that the pharmaceutical companies are in cahoots with governments and food producing companies. They say if you go to the grocery store, if you stay on the outer perimeter, don't go into the aisles where the canned and the things with like 20-year shelf life are sitting that are filled with preservatives and additives. And I'm not going to front. I was vegan. Emphasis on the word was, because I am human and I eat my cheeseburger every once in a while. But I do eat a lot of salad and a lot of vegetables. And I try to stay away from a can or a box or a package of something if I can. And I do a pretty good job. Maybe that's why I'm healthy. Drink a lot of water. Don't drink soda. Don't drink coffee. And I was actually on a raw food diet for a while. There used to be this restaurant. It was a raw food restaurant, and the best pizza that I've had in my life was a raw food pizza. And you're like, what's a raw food pizza? For those that don't know, the crust was made out of cashews that they soaked, made it malleable and formable, and that was the crust. And there was fresh tomatoes and spinach. Oh man, this pizza, you can't see my fingers, but quote unquote pizza was delightful and delicious. And if you think back, and I'm in the process of doing a book, and it may already be out there, but I'm writing a book. I don't know if I'm going to name it, but I was going to name it The Caveman Diet. So if you go back to natural man and woman, don't trip. I know females is hot right now. It's all about the female. Woo! Another podcast. Anyway, not anti-female, by the way. But caveman, didn't have a grocery store, didn't have a refrigerator. So it is my understanding, and once again, logic applied, that if we were cave dwellers, or even if we, got to a point where we build residences of some sort, some hut, if you killed an animal, you might have learned how to preserve it in salt, maybe a day or two. I don't know. But for the most part, no, because once the flies get it, it's a wrap. It's over. So, wasn't a lot of meat getting consumed. For one, you had to catch it. And you ever tried to hunt something? I'm not a hunter. Let stuff live. But, on Earth, you got to kill to eat. And plants are alive. Okay? They are alive. And so I don't care even if you're a vegan. You have to kill that plant to eat. You have to kill animals to eat. And a lot of people have grown up with supermarkets and the convenience of readily available. Here in America, that's an understatement. Readily available. Now you can get literally anything delivered to your house. And it's been that way for a while, but like 2 hours, you can get your groceries, food, fast food, anything delivered. So, availability is something more than that. Hyper availability, if you will. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I still like going shopping for my own. I want to squeeze my own tomatoes. I want to look at my own cucumbers and lettuce and all of that. So anyway, that's just me. My opinion. Once again, my preference. So we foraged as a people, right? The caveman diet. We ate nuts and berries and leaves, spinach leaves, kale leaves, whatever we can probably eat that didn't kill us. We'd eat it. And once in a while, we get some meat, and we'd have to get some exercise, like going to the gym. Like, you see that bison over there? Yeah, it's a herd of them. We're going to have to, Then you have to process it, right? You got to skin it, right? Then you got to butcher it. That's a messy endeavor. Can you imagine butchering something like in the wild? I'm pretty sure there are hunters, if any hunters happen to listen to this, butchering something in the wild. There's lots of blood and guts and yuck. And imagine you have to do it relatively quick. You don't have an air-conditioned butcher shop to do it in. But a lot of stuff, if you've ever, you should take a trip to a butcher shop one day. Some of them are so automated, and it's disenchanting. I'll say that. But it's all tied in, is my point. Diet, our food sources, pharmaceutical companies. If you've been convinced that vaccination is the way, once again, I tell you, turn to history. There have been swift outbreaks of deadly diseases that we couldn't get everybody inoculated or vaccinated, rather. We had to let it run its course and play out. And certainly that had to be the way before modern medicine and the modern pharmaceutical company, right? And we survived. We were stronger as a people. Think about that. Okay? We built up a natural immunity. And yes, people died. We're going to die. People die. Every day. I started out the beginning of this podcast, 41 years old, rich, accomplished, successful. I never met him, but seemingly a wonderful person, multilingual, and he was black. I'm black. I don't know if you know that, but I don't think race should matter yet. Another podcast. But Kobe Bryant, you'll never know when you're going to go. Took a helicopter ride, and God, rest in peace. Still sinking in for me, really. Like I said, I didn't know him. I'm not a fan guy kind of dude, but he's just another human. I care about human beings. Being a father, taking a trip and never coming home, and he got other kids and a wife. It's horrible. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But I know it's coming for all of us. And here in America, especially, I think other cultures deal with death a little differently, but we choose to ignore it. And it's such a horrible thing. We think it's never going to happen. We need to embrace it. And I'm not talking about become death merchants or just wallow in it. I'm just saying we need to accept it. And once again, my understanding here on earth, you don't know when you're going to go. Okay? Unless you choose to take your own life. I think there's certain instances where that may be appropriate. Like if you're, 80 and you just got longevity in your family, but you're suffering some ailment and you don't have any quality of life, Dr. Kevorkian will hook you right on up where you'll go peacefully and painlessly. And if that's your choice, that's what you want to do, then can do that. Yet another podcast. Not this one. This one's Vaccinations. Excuse me. So death is real. And I think it's okay to be afraid of the unknown, because whether you believe in reincarnation, whether you believe in heaven and hell, whether you believe in a big black void and there's nothing after this, or any other thing that you may believe, the fact of the matter is at some point, this body, now I don't know about the spirit or the energy inside of this body, what happens to it afterwards. But your physical body, your brain, your heart, your lungs, your physical body will stop functioning. It'll cease to work. And that's what we call dead. Okay? And being afraid of that unknown, especially as a parent, and you have your most precious, valuable creation in your arms, and it can't walk, talk, feed itself, it poops on itself, and it's totally dependent on you. You want to make that choice to protect it. I get it. I'm a parent. I get it. I understand. I truly, truly do. But it is also my belief that if you have an otherwise healthy child and it wasn't born with some compromised immune system or some special case, or if you have a loved one who's becoming frail, for some reason the older person hadn't been immunized, or you want to get immunized to protect them, I get it. I do, and I don't want to see no babies die. That's horrible. It's horrible to think about. When you zoom out from your individual self and you look at the forest instead of the tree, when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's possible that these diseases are meant to strengthen us as a species of humans, to become stronger. And that may mean, actually I think it does mean, that some people will have to die. The weaker of us, the more vulnerable, the more susceptible to, will have to perish for the sacrifice of the majority of us. That's just life on earth. It's life on earth. So I refuse to apologize for not injecting my child, making the conscious decision not to inject my child with a pharmaceutically derived substance. And especially, I know they've changed the schedule, of shots, but and once again, you can look at the statistics, and some parents may already be, familiar with these shot schedules, but your body is inundated. I don't know what's in this stuff. I have no idea what's in this stuff. I don't know what's in measles either, for that matter, the actual disease. Okay? But I'm not doing it ever again. And if I get the flu, I'm going to suffer through it. My understanding, do you know what fever is? Okay. And there's fevers that can kill you. And I think that's 104, 105, 106 Fahrenheit. But the fever is the body's natural reaction to kill off whatever's ailing you. Whatever germ or virus is inside of you, it heats your body up. And it's miserable. If you've ever had a fever, you know it sucks. It sucks. Okay, having a fever is horrible. But it's a natural reaction. It's not foreign. And I've read that sometimes the body will respond with that fever and will shorten whatever virus that you have. But when we suppress that fever and address the symptoms instead of the disease, all we do is prolong it. We prolong that sickness for the immediacy of feeling better. And I get it. Being miserable is just that. It's miserable, right? Who wants to feel bad? But maybe we've gotten soft. I don't know. Like if a caveman walked up on the street and had a time machine, or, I don't know, had been living underground and found his way to the surface, or whatever the case may be, he would be like, y'all soft. What are y'all doing? You don't want to get off your couch. You got remote controls and delivery for everything. What is your point of life? To go to work, come home, and do nothing with your life. Once again, I tell you, I digress a lot. It's all connected, though. Everything is everything. Remember that song by Lauryn Hill? She won Grammy for the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Everything is everything. I'm not going to attempt to sing, even though I can, but not right now. I need to have a sip of something wet, preferably water. I would just like you to think about this. If you are a pro-vaccination person, or you have the option to become one, you're going to have children, or you have a young child and you're at that point, think about it. Okay? This is my opinion. I'm Mike, and this is Mike's opinion, and I think differently. I'm not totally unique. I'm pretty sure there's others that think like me. I haven't met many. And I'm not trying to get disease spread rampant around the United States or planet Earth, for that matter. I am just trying to actually help us become stronger as a people on planet Earth. I may do a part 2 to this, and I'll load it up with a lot of stats and references, for both. I am anti-vaxxer, but I hope I was fair to those that vaccinate and letting them know that I understand why you think that way. I wholeheartedly do. If we just start doing things a little bit differently, it seems we've lost our way. Technology has come in and taken over. Everybody's got a phone or iPad, or not iPad, or a tablet rather. I'm not just going to go against Apple, just tablets. We want everything now. This internet that we have, it's all good and all bad. Personally, I'd like to see us all live in caves, little villages, loincloths, dirt floors, no electricity, one with the earth. I know. But imagine trying to do that right now. It just takes money. You got to buy the land. Where are you going to find the land? Right? Yeah. Anyway, love yourself, love somebody. This is Mike, and this is Mike's opinion. Have a good one. This is Mike, and this is Mike's opinion. Have a good one.